Welcome back to the Hot 7 Nightly News. Thank you for staying with us. The president of the Vendors Association is expressing concern over the fate of vendors who are soon to be moved to a new location in the coming weeks. Peter Ras Ipa Isaac says the association, as well as vendors, are being kept in the dark with relation to the details of the move. Rochelle Gonzalez reports.
The president of the St. Lucia Craft and Dry Goods Vendors Association has revealed that he's being kept in the dark when it comes to the impending relocation of Castries vendors to the Shed 6 compound. Peter Ras Ipa Isaac said so far, all his information has come from word of mouth and not from the officials themselves.
As you know, we are not privy to some of the discussions because council is just going and call impromptu meetings with the vendors and tell them some of the things they're doing and without invite. For matter of fact, it surprised me that I heard of a meeting was held at the provision market with the vendors, and a taxi association was included in that meeting, and SLASPA, and not the Vendors Association. So this was the situation now where they keep on slighting us, as you know, and that's the MO of the chairman of the Castries Constituency Council, Mr. Peterson Francis.
Isaac said this sense of uncertainty has proven to be very concerning for vendors across the board.
Vendors are concerned. They meet me all the time and they tell me something must be worked out. They cannot go to meetings, and when I am not there, it's like our voice is not heard because the city council talking down at them and so on. And as everyone knows, because people went to some workshop recently and they told them, listen, you need a vendors association because CCC cannot represent you. It's a whole situation where they're doing things in a kind of haphazard way and without the express presence of the Vendors Association makes it even more chaotic because they're just throwing things out there.
With that said, Isaac continued on to call the vendors their own worst enemies as they are not working together to achieve the common goal.
I really want to say that the vendors too must be blamed in one way, because whenever you go to these meetings, you actually give legitimacy to what he's doing in this kind of situation where he just wants to be some kind of dictator and just do things in a dictatorial way, and that's what's going on there.
Isaac said although he is not certain of the moving date, according to the hearsay reaching him, the move to Shed 6 will commence in 2 weeks. Hot 7 News was unable to ascertain from the relevant authorities whether this will indeed be the case. However, we will continue to investigate the matter. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Waking up for your everyday job only to be handed a letter stating that your post along with your co-workers has been made redundant can be a tough pill to swallow. In the recent month, the government has done just that. The Fish Marketing Corporation, the St. Lucia Marketing Board, and the post of Senior Communications Officer in the St. Lucia Tourism Authority have all been issued redundancy letters. Adding his voice to the conversation is Executive Director of the St. Lucia Employers Federation, Joseph Alexander, who is of the opinion that the decision to close shop for the various entities was a good decision.
Gone are the days where a government job automatically qualifies as a lifelong position. The pressures to meet mandates and excel as a particular organization or in a particular position are being greatly scrutinized by the powers that be. And what of those who fall short? The argument remains that particular posts and organizations that bleed cash at taxpayers' expense must be thoroughly evaluated. Executive Director of the St. Lucia Employers Federation, Joseph Alexander, weighs in on the discussion of the recent redundancy letters that have been issued to workers. He says that the move is one that is in accordance to business life to ensure that the mandate of profit-making is top priority.
Redundancy is a fact of life. If a company is not making profit and is showing losses every year, which, from what I have been advised, both Marketing Board and Fisheries Corporation have been suffering over the years, it is how long can you continue? Because a business was made to provide you with a profit. When those companies make losses, we, the taxpayer, subsidize those organizations, and we've subsidized them for years.
Alexander says that moving forward, the government of St. Lucia should tap into public-private sector partnership to ensure longevity of their business.
I would like to see something else, a more private sector oriented entity take over from those organizations, so they will begin to show a profit, for us to adhere to the real business principles. I'm hoping that in the reorganization of these organizations, or the organization which will take over from the two of them, that most of those employees will be re-employed, because they have skills, they have basic skills that they will carry. And as an organization, you're not going to start back from scratch. You try to utilize the skills because they are available.
Alexander notes that both organizations have gone through the relevant redundancy processes. However, he added that the sensitive nature of the announcement should have warranted the services of a counselor.
Normally, when you do mass redundancies, you provide some kind of counseling, right? I don't know if that's been done, but normally for mass redundancies, some counseling is provided. And you give as much notice as possible so that people could start looking for other jobs.
Alexander insists that either way you cut it, redundancy remains a difficult situation. However, with companies having short shelf lives, employers sometimes need to make hard decisions to ensure that the business stays afloat. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
Vendors Association President Peter Ras Ipa Isaac is accusing the Grosley mayor of taking away the essence of being on a tropical island in a bid to be more cosmopolitan. Following a controversial removal of the coconut vendors from the Rodney Bay area which they once occupied, the president is speaking out.
President of the St. Lucia Craft and Dry Goods Vendors Association, Peter Ras Ipa Isaac, has chimed in on the ongoing matter concerning the removal of coconut vendors from their Rodney Bay location by Grosley Mayor James Edwin. Isaac lamented the controversial move, accusing Edwin of being part of a plot to turn St. Lucia into a carbon copy of cosmopolitan countries. He said St. Lucians living abroad and tourists alike come to the island to experience the tropical lifestyle rather than the same lifestyles they are used to abroad.
It seems to me what they're doing, I don't know who's behind that, but apparently they probably want the coconut vendors to start, to stop selling coconut as they're selling it now, and that people could go to the supermarkets and buy coconut in bottles. But you see, we are a tropical island, and people really sometimes, even the visitors, they want the experience where a vendor would be cutting that coconut open, give it to you, and you just take the coconut and throw it down your throat. You understand what I mean? And he cuts it open again, after you have drunk the water, and then to give you the jelly to eat and so on and so forth. These are some of the experience people really want of the island. So I don't know why they really want to take these people of these areas where they are. And we try to make things look so unique and so cosmopolitan and so on. And I just think they're going wrong about this whole thing. And we're trying to make things look as though we're so, we're so metropolitan or we're so whatever, as if we need to take people because everything needs to be done in so much order. But the reality about it is that we take not the flavor of our tropical, spirit. We are a small tropical island. Our environment, that's what it's about.
Isaac said, on the other hand, the very least that authorities could have done for the vendors was to relocate them to a facility prepared for them rather than leaving them displaced. Even
if you want to move these people, why you don't try to prepare a place first for them? To put them. You just want to move them and tell them go there, and then you say you collected money to do this, but you haven't done nothing like that, but you're already moving them. This is madness in St. Lucia, and I think they need to stop this kind of thing. Vendors are small business persons, they are entrepreneur people, they are micro business people, coconut vendors, food vendors, craft vendors, all these vendors are making a significant contribution to our development. In fact, they are contributing 8% to our GDP. We should consider that as being very important and treat them with kid gloves, because you're not supposed to try to deal with them in such a harsh manner.
In relation to the safety aspect involved in the matter, Isaac said the same occurs in fully developed countries, so to him, this is a non-issue. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Author and anti-bullying activist Lovely Sheridan is encouraging parents and community members as a collective to step in and play a vital role in stamping out bullying once and for all. Sheridan says the effort cannot come solely from schools.
Author turned anti-bullying activist Lovely Sheridan has tasked adults across the board to step up and play an active role in the fight to eradicate bullying in St. Lucia once and for all. Sheridan spoke to Hot 7 News at the launch of her Buddy Bench campaign at the Carmen Renee Memorial School earlier this week. The Be a Buddy, Not a Bully author is embarking on a mission to place a number of benches in schools across the island with hopes of stamping out bullying and forging lifelong friendships. However, Sheridan revealed that as part of her non-stop campaign, she has planned to host a number of workshops for teachers, parents, and adults in general to encourage them to work with the children.
It makes no sense if we are teaching the children to be a buddy, to be a friend, to be kind, to be compassionate, and we are not practicing ourselves. So the first thing I would say is to be a leader, to be an example, to practice what we preach.
Sheridan said it is important to remember that the ever so impressionable future generation are looking to the older generations for guidance, and so St. Lucians need to adopt this new way of thinking in order to raise kinder children.
The kids are watching us, children learn what they live. And so I would like to encourage all adults, teachers, educators, and this will be my message today, is that we have to be the example for the children. We have to set the example because it cannot be do as I say, not as I do. It doesn't work that way. And it's happened a lot in our culture, and we need to change that around.
As part of her anti-bullying campaign, Sheridan has placed a total of 14 benches at schools across the island. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News. There's more news coming up after the break.